You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Schenectady crematorium, you kill 'em, we grill 'em, extra crispy, original recipe.
Is this the tattooed ugly himself?
The one and only.
Lenn Oddity is with us this evening. That was the best phone answer we've had yet on this show.
I'm glad I could accommodate.
You were able to accommodate. Very good. So we apologize for running a little bit over with Garrett Bischoff this evening, but we're glad that we've got you on the line now and wanted to catch up with you, see what's going on in your world. So I guess before we get going on anything, where are you wrestling currently?
Nowhere. I haven't been wrestling anywhere for about 6-7 months.
Really?
Yeah, I actually...
or what's going on with you?
No, I had a severe injury during a match. I ended up doing a plancha from the top rope to the outside. The guy was 2 steps too far away, and I didn't reposition my feet. So I landed on my left foot pretty bad and almost had to have it amputated the first 3 months.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, 8 fractures, 2 breaks.
Ooh.
Huckabee, I don't ever want to hear you again complain about how banged up you are after what Mr. Oddity has been taken.
You're right. My thought is if Terry Von Erich could do it with 1 foot, I can do it.
So what's the prognosis, Lenn? Are you going to be able to get back in the ring soon, or are you out?
My return is June.
Oh, cool. Okay.
June is my return, and I got one federation out here in New York that I've just been a fun little heel manager causing some trouble.
So where are you going to be making your re-debut at then?
At the moment, the only place that has me booked is, I think it's RPW out in Rhode Island.
Okay.
So they're a good group out there. I've worked for them a couple times. But yeah, they're the only ones that, besides In Your Face Wrestling, that have been really keeping in contact with me during my injury.
You know, for some reason, have a fascination with painted wrestlers, and been looking on Facebook, and we've been friends for a couple of years now, probably, and always dug the face paint. What got you all involved in the makeup end of wrestling?
Actually, my grandmother got me into wrestling in general, and she always liked the crazy characters. And yeah, I was a bit of a Sting fan during his Crow years where he wasn't talking, and right. I've just always been a fan of anybody that can actually do something strange with their face paint. So I actually took it a step further and started doing weird, eccentric things with it. So, and now I just get more and more elaborate, and I let the fans pick it.
I was wondering, how long did it take you, pre-match to get all that on you properly?
Depending which face paint I'm doing, anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour and a half.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a lot of time.
It's actually become quite difficult since the face tattoos.
Yes, I can imagine that. So what got you into besides Grandma, obviously, what is it about wrestling that made you want to get into the profession in the first place? Because it's obviously crazy. It's probably everything you heard it would be and more on good level and a bad level. What got you into it, and has it met your expectations?
For me, it was, my grandmother, was a big influence. We watched Raw, she took me to live indie shows and stuff. But, for me, it was watching these guys basically being real life superheroes and supervillains. And then as I got older and I realized, the story behind every match and everything, it got me sucked into it more. And basically I went, I can do whatever I want and kind of get away with it if I have it make sense. Yeah, I'm doing this the rest of my life.
So what made you choose the dangerous side of pro wrestling? I guess you're becoming a hardcore icon. Please don't flatter me with the word icon. I just made a small name for myself and a little niche. That's it. In like one side of the country. That's it. I'm not an icon. Thank you though. Actually, that kind of came along with my tattoos and with the same process of I randomly started getting thrown into hardcore matches in Connecticut about 8 years ago. And that when I was training in
one of the trainers for Just Incredible School out in Waterbury, Connecticut. And,
cool.
they embraced me to the point where they're like, Lenn, be yourself. And they started throwing me into different type matches with, it started out with my, how vulgar can I be on the show? Let me ask her.
Oh, you can be as vulgar as you want. There's no.
Okay.
Don't
This is
talk
the
about
Undisputed
doing
Wrestling
stuff,
Show.
skulls and stuff like that, but you know.
Oh, okay, I just wanted to double check. So I have this big bag of fuck 'em up I carry around. It's that's exactly what it is. It's a big bag of fuck 'em up. It's just this giant bag of random shit. And I started out with those, and it was, throwing in comedy in with the hardcore match with whatever I pulled out of the bag. I pull out anything from a rubber chicken to a steel chair wrapped in barbed wire to an 18-inch black double-ended dildo. And I've used them all. So they started throwing me in like
how you use the last one.
Multiple ways. Trust me. Some of them are on YouTube. But they started throwing me in real hardcore matches, and I came to a realization that some of the shit that these guys whine and complain about. Now, I know some tough men in the business, but I know guys that whine and complain about thumbtacks. To me, thumbtacks don't hurt. So I can roll around in thumbtacks for hours and it won't bother me one bit and still get up and wrestle a whole match. So it just started becoming, okay, I'm really good at doing this stupid shit. Let's see how much further I can go. And then it's escalating. And now I'm trying to be more different with it, like me and the straight razor. How many wrestlers do you guys see that walk around with this 11-inch silver-handed straight razor?
And what's the straight razor's name?
Betty.
Betty.
It is mine and my wife's girlfriend, Betty.
This is the Undisputed Wrestling Show. We're talking to Tattooed Ugly himself, Lenn Oddity. And you know what? Every time I mention the word hardcore, it sends chills and shivers up and down the spine of one NWA Continental Champion, Will Huckabee. Will, what do you have for Lenn Oddity this evening?
First of all, to all of my Twitter followers, I just mentioned that I want nothing to do with Lenn Oddity or his bag of fuck 'em up or Betty whatsoever.
Betty, that's right.
Oh, I'm sad.
Like, that's okay.
Hang on, Will. Lynn, tell me you haven't named the dildo yet.
Oh, that's Buck. That's Buck. And guess what he likes to do?
Drive a truck?
Continue, Will. I'm
good.
sorry. How come you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. All right. Let's get back to being serious. First thing I've got to ask, Lenn, two tongues. That's the first thing that popped out when going to your website and watching your matches. Two tongues. How did that come about?
After my second year of pro wrestling, my tag partner killed himself. So I kind of went on a 6-month hiatus of self-discovery and got really heavy into the body mod. So I tattooed my neck and the top of my head. And at the time, I had my tongue pierced and gauged. I don't know if you know your gauges at all, but basically I could take my thumb and shove it straight through my tongue. And I'm talking to my piercer going, I can't wear jewelry because it keeps popping out. What can we do? And he went, well, we can split it. I'm like, I haven't done that. And you know what? When I get back to wrestling, nobody else has that. That's a gimmick nobody else has done yet. I'm on top of it. So, yeah, 2 scalpel cuts and cauterizing the webbing out from under it later. I'm the first pro wrestler in the world with a split tongue.
Yes, you are. When you go, the first time when you go to different companies and stuff, they book you, they bring you in. What's the usual, I guess, regular run-of-the-mill fans reaction when you first come out the crowd with the face paint, the tattoos, and the tongues? What's the first reaction, and is that the reaction that you want to get from these people?
Actually, I kind of catch everybody off guard. A lot of times when I come out, if you watch a full entrance in a place that doesn't know me, I'll come out twice. I'll come out, ha-ha, hi, what's going on? Cheers. No, everybody's staring at me, and I hear crickets in the background. Okay, let's try it again. I'll actually go back through the curtain and pop back out. And usually it's my energy that kind of, from what I'm told, gets people's attention more. But, I get everything from people that don't want to come near me to people that obsess over every single tattoo. And, yeah, I get an extreme spectrum every time I go out.
Now, before we, and there's so many questions we can ask you, but you're not only a quote-unquote hardcore guy, but you're also a very accomplished actual wrestler, being trained by Just Incredible and stuff. I know that you know how to wrestle. Is that correct?
Yeah, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I like to think I know my way around the ring a little.
Is that just something, that everybody does that, and so you found something different that makes you stand out from the crowd, and that's what you just prefer to stick with?
Oh, no. In all honesty, I got pigeonholed in the hardcore. I literally... No, not even because of the look. It's because I'm good at it. I pretty much give, 3 pints of blood and half my friggin' torso when I go out there. And I give it all. There's no, mild button. It's all or nothing. Go big or go home. So I get kind of thrown into those matches very, very often. And I actually, probably shouldn't talk about payday, but I actually cut my payday in half for a regular match, just so I have the chance of getting a regular match.
Wow. So one more question. I'm sorry, Zan. I'm so sorry for stepping on your toes. We've had guys like Mad Pondo and Too Tough Tony and stuff on the show.
Necro Butcher.
And stuff. Do you see yourself in the same class of hardcore wrestlers, because you don't like to use the word icon, as these guys, or is that what you aspire to be?
My inspiration for the business in general, not just hardcore or wrestling, is to be my own category. Actually, I have I know I have a niche that I can fill only so much in, so I'm trying to branch out with it, but I kind of want to have nobody else in my own category. I always strive to be a little different. That's why I'm letting fans get more into it. There's not a lot of wrestlers out there that, have the fans pick what they're going to wear for the night, for face paint or, personality or, moves. Half of my moves, watch my matches, I'm yelling to the crowd, what do you want to see? Just because I want to give them something they don't normally see. I'm pandering to the crowd a little bit, but, I'm also feeding off of them. I'm getting them more involved, and they don't get that normally.
It's oddcore.
Yep, the perfect words for it.
All right, let's kick it on over to the bearded wonder himself, Zane Paisley. What do you got for the odd one tonight?
Oh,
by the way, Lenn, before we get to Zane, happy birthday yesterday, brother.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I've got a lot to ask you, Lenn. First off, you started off training under Jason Knight, who we've had on the show, and he's amazing. Just Incredible, who we've had on the show. He's amazing. Stevie Richards, you worked with a little bit. We've had him on the show. He's amazing. But Rip Rogers, you spent a couple weeks with Rip Rogers. Okay, I think he broke the record for profanity on this
profanity?
Show.
Yes, he has.
Can you tell us a little? And your training was cut short with him, but can you tell us a little about what you learned from Rip Rogers?
I got to spend 2.5 weeks with Rip Rogers, training, 3 days out of those weeks. And it was grueling, but at the same time, it was a realization of you don't have to call everything out. My time with Rip kind of completely changed how I wrestled in the ring because, at the time it was, okay, we need to call every single spot. I need to know where I am. I need to know where you are. And it was, that wasn't actually working. That whole realization of how he did the drills, how, you'd sit there and you'd work one body part for half an hour to an hour. The profanity was great. I love the fact he didn't know my name. He just called me Spoon Nose. Friggin'. It if you watch one of my old promos, I shove a spoon through my septum. I have my septum gauged out so I can put my pinky through it. And the first night we were there, we did a whole bunch of training for a couple hours, and then everybody cut little quick 30-second promos. They counted down. And I got in there, I grabbed the spoon really quick when I rolled in, and I started talking about the Penguins, and, you always need to keep your spoon close. I have a special place for mine. And then I ended it with shoving it through my septum. And half of them, covered their mouths in disgust. The others were, staring that's kind of neat. But from that moment on, Rip Rogers only called me Spoon Nose. And yeah, it was Rhode Island guy, Spoon Nose. You guys came together. Come on up.
A lot of pro wrestling is old carny stuff. So you kind of combine the old carny stuff and the old circus sideshow stuff. It's awesome. How did you come up with that? Were you always a sideshow fan?
Well, I actually grew up obsessing over Harry Houdini. So, I was very interested in how he said, your mind and your body were your limit. You could do anything you wanted as long as you trained yourself to. So I started doing some similar things. And around the same time I got into wrestling, I started really looking into doing some sideshow stuff. And every time I kind of get somewhere with that, it always fell under with me. And this actual year, while I've been injured, it's kind of really, turned in my favor, opening up more doors. I'm actually doing my first tattoo expo, and it's a big expo out here in New York.
Well, so what are you doing there? Are you doing sideshow stuff? Are you a tattoo artist, or what's going on with that?
I'm actually in the middle of a body modification apprenticeship. Doing tongue splitting and implantation and piercings and whatnot. This is my third attempt at it, so. The guy I'm with is actually trustworthy and a good guy and is kind of a big name in that circle of things. So I'm actually learning from somebody good. But actually I'm going to the convention because I'm doing an hour stand-up comedy / kind of sideshow act. I'm gonna get out of a straitjacket. I'm going to lay on a bed of glass while somebody puts weights on me. I'm gonna hang an anvil for my septum and swing it. I'm going to let the fans come up and actually staple gun money to me.
Very nice, very nice. Now you're going to be wearing the paint while you do that?
No. I've actually, the most I'll do with the paint is a little bit around the eyes like I'm doing for the heel managing right now. I find it, I get more personable with people. They don't react to me the same way wrestling fans do.
So tell us a little about the Scumdogs of Sanity. You're managing them. They're two guys in hoods. They look like huge guys, and you guys have some hilarious. Well, I don't know if they're supposed to be hilarious, but I thought they were hilarious videos on YouTube. I forgot to ask you: are you on your meds tonight?
I'm half medicated right now. If that answers your question, I'm only half medicated.
Okay.
When I finish the lithium drip, you won't even be able to talk to me anymore.
All right.
But no, I'm glad you think they're hilarious. I try to be everything from Tattoo Ugly Productions. We actually try and go with the humor. But it's what it is. It's basically two green guys that have been in the business for a few years, and not very long though, and they just need help with some things, and they're both kind of going down the same road I was out here in New York, and it kind of worked out perfectly. It's like, okay, I need to stay relevant somehow, and you guys need help, so why don't you listen to me? And they've been doing pretty good so far.
Is it fun being the mouthpiece?
It is, but you have no idea how difficult it is not rolling that ring and smack that ref.
Yeah.
The ref, the other wrestlers, got to kick everybody in the nuts at least once.
And somebody else who is sidelined right now, but for better reasons, is the Harley Quinn to your Joker, Mrs. Bonnie Oddity. Can you tell us, our listeners, a little about her?
Mistress Meow.
That is her. She is currently pregnant right now, actually, 6 months in.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Is it yours?
Thank you. Better be mine. If it doesn't come out with a split tongue and funny colored hair, we're going to have issues, honey. But yeah, she's been busy with the baby. Sadly, it has not been a fun pregnancy for us. She's been having some complications. So luckily, everything's good, everything's healthy, but it's just been rough.
Well, and you guys have a son currently, correct?
Yes, a 2.5-year-old who is over 3 foot tall.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we named him appropriately, Brutus. Brutus Oddity.
This is the Undisputed Wrestling Show. We are talking to one of the craziest guests we've had, and we're enjoying every second of it. Tattooed Ugly himself, Lenn Oddity. Lenn, in your career, you've been doing this for, 12 years or so now. Do you mostly wrestle as a face or a heel, or a little bit of both, or what?
I like to consider myself that righteous heel. I kind of, with the face paint, I've kind of can't not be cheered. No matter what I do, the fans kind of get behind me. So I end up just, when the other guy kind of deserves it, I give him his due. I make sure that crowd leaves home happy.
And just to let you know, Will Huckabee, in case you did not know this, Mr. Oddity was an NWA grindcore champion. And being you are the NWA Continental Champion, there might be a match of that magnitude coming up in your future as well, Mr. Huckabee.
Obviously you didn't read my tweet, did you?
No, I have
Betty.
not.
Okay, no Betty, no Buck, no bag of fuck 'em up. Oh, you see that rhyme. You like that Lenn? That rhymes, man.
I like the rhyme. I like the rhyme, brother. But just remember, don't run away with your tail between your legs too fast, because I also do really wrestle. So, if you ever need a pair, I got more than enough to share. I'll give you a couple balls, and we'll go one-on-one for the belts. I still got mine in the back.
All right. We can do that, man.
Hey, if you tell him to keep the toys at home, you'll wrestle him, right? Well,
what do you say?
I said, tell him to keep the toys at home, and you'll take him on, right? Because he can wrestle.
You know what? Actually, I with a guy like Lenn, that's a once-in-a-life opportunity. I mean, I actually would ask him to bring the entire bag, man. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever. I probably it would probably be one of those, pop a couple of Percocets right before the match and drink a 12-pack, like, whatever, do your damnedest, let's go. my wife will hate him forever.
Don't worry. I'll make sure I bring the chunky peanut butter for lube, and if your wife wants to, I'll let her keep the jar.
Hey, Lenn, I'll tell you right now, look, Lenn, my wife is from Compton, all right?
Fuck. I'll take my bag and go home now.
My hell, this show has digressed.
But you're loving it.
Dave Paisley, help me out here.
Okay, well, let's get it back on track. Can you talk to our listeners about how they can follow your career and how they can keep up with everything that you're doing?
Yeah, that's very simple. I've actually been slacking lately, but if they want to, go to www.lennoddity.com. That is LENNODDITY. Right from there, you get my Facebook, my Twitter, both YouTube pages for matches and random promos and webisodes.
And they can put on what type of paint that you're going to wear.
Oh yeah, there's the face paint wars. Actually, I've even started doing polls for letting everybody choose different merch, different T-shirts, different webisodes, different items that come out of the bag. So I'm getting much more interactive with everybody.
And also, there is a Facebook page for Scumdogs of Sanity, the tag team that you work with.
Oh, of course. There's I wish I remembered the link. Yes, there's Scumdogs of Sanity. I know Ronnie Ribs has his own Facebook page as well. Surma does not yet, but we will be getting him one. Sadly, Surma doesn't do much with the computers.
From our chat room, someone who's going by the name of Irish Warrior says he still wants a rematch for that belt.
Oh, he's just unhappy that I didn't spit first.
All right. Hey, I had a question. Face paint is becoming really relevant again with kind of the... I don't know if it's been a good thing for the Ascension that they've done the face paint, but somebody that's really brought it back to a lot of attention is Finn Balor, who used to be called Prince Devitt. And what do you think of his face paint?
I'm actually a huge fan of his. He went a completely different route with that. I mean, I can't knock him at all. People were coming to me when he first was coming out with the Venom style paint and going, look, Len, somebody's trying to rip you off. Like, no, he's doing that way better in a different way. Let him go. And I kind of wish they'd let him run with the face paint more than just, once in a while type thing. The way he wrestles, the face paint almost brings out the weirder side of his style. And I enjoy it. I would love to see him go much further with it and see how much more bizarre it gets.
So besides Finn Balor, who's other wrestlers that are in the scene that you think just really kill it with the face paint?
There's a few guys actually on the indie. One of my favorites actually is Chance Prophet. He's one of the guys that I've actually been talking with him for a while, and we both got the hey, this guy's trying to rip you off thing, and we both just kind of looked at each other and went, no, we're not, and we kind of became friends that way. And I'm actually trying to figure out ways to get him out here before I got injured. I'd love to get out that way and actually get a chance to wrestle him. He's somebody that just I'm all about his gimmick. There's another guy out this way in New England area called Devil's Reject, Brandon Webb. I've wrestled him a couple times. I actually like the route he's going with his stuff. He's taking it a different way.
How about next week's guest that we have on? We have Grin and Barrett coming on next week. Have you checked him out yet?
Oh yeah, I actually randomly came across Grin's stuff. I want to say last year. And I actually like his stuff. I like how he goes back and forth with colors. He has kind of almost a jack-o'-lantern style face paint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's somebody else that actually I would love to, even just team with or something, or just do some kind of gaga with, because I have the feeling it would be entertaining as hell, and just to actually get that chance of seeing the two different face paints next to each other, so we can kind of go and flip everybody off, going, yeah, see, we're nothing alike. Kiss our asses.
So, Len, where do you go from here, though? I guess when you look at yourself and goals in wrestling and what you want to get accomplished before it's all said and done, do you have visions of WWE and TNA and Japan and stuff like that, or are you quite content doing your own thing where you're at?
Actually, getting injured kind of made me reevaluate my career.
That doesn't help things.
Yeah, I was very comfortable actually where I was, and now it's getting that time to not be in the ring and kind of be introspective and think about not just life but everything. I kind of want to take things to the next step, so I'm hoping to actually branch out across the whole U.S. when I come back next year. I am looking to make an e-run, even if it is as just a jobber, I wouldn't mind taking a couple $100 pay bump. I'd love to go to friggin' Japan, anywhere. I have one guy from Canada who was actually sending me some emails. I would love to work with him. Canada would be great. But it's also, I'm trying to branch out more than just wrestling. I'm trying to do the sideshow comedy acts and the episodes and stuff. I'm trying to get a little bit more, not just wrestling, but kind of bring other fans into the wrestling too. Hey, this character isn't just funny, but he's also beating the shit out of somebody and hitting them in the balls 20 times. Let's go see that.
Maybe you can start a Twitter war with Mick Foley, and it might take your career up a notch. What do you think?
I don't think I'd love to try, but I don't think he's entertained by me. I've met Mr. Foley a couple times, and I'm a huge mark for him. I love the fact that he came out to a show in Long Island. It was my return after I had to take a couple month hiatus because my life was going to shambles. I had dropped down to 130 pounds at my normal 200, so wow. I had to get my life back together. When I came back, this federation FTW. It was their first time they had a cage. In this cage, by Foley's words, standing next to me, that's taller than Hell in the Cell. I pity the guy who's going to jump off that. That's me, sir. Yeah. So I've gone up to him and shook his hand a couple times. And... oh, it's great. I jumped up to about 20 wrestlers. Yeah. Yeah, I felt like Kid Cash back in old ECW. I'm just going to jump, and everybody will catch me. Woo. I think I farted on somebody when I came down, too. I might have been holding that one in.
So Zane, you think we could get him in the ring with Marion Fontaine? How would that go?
That would, I don't know if they'd mesh well very well, but it would be interesting.
Not so sure they would either. Well, Huckabee, what final questions do you have for Mr. Lenn Oddity?
Well, Lynn, now we got the last of stuff out. For, I guess, our average fan who would look at you and wouldn't realize what your gimmick is all about, and I don't mean this to be insulting whatsoever, can we say that you're probably closer to the Heath Ledger's version of the Joker, where it may seem that you're crazy and you're way out there, but everything that you do makes sense and has a purpose towards a goal.
That's actually fairly accurate. Yeah, I'm actually the Joker was a huge inspiration. The Joker, the Mask, and Beetlejuice. Those are the three characters that make Lenn Oddity. You just cram them all together and you got me. Hi.
Okay, I see the Mask and I see the Joker, but how does Beetlejuice play into the entire thing?
I can see Beetlejuice in him.
Beetlejuice would be me grabbing my crotch, all the vulgarity and the dirtiness and the striped pants I wear. Yeah.
So, you've had a very long run, and you said that, you've been injured and it's made you reevaluate a lot of things in life. When it's time to hang up the boots and everything, and it happens to all of us, how do you want to be remembered?
First off, if I can walk, I'm wrestling. Let's just get that straight. If I'm in a wheelchair, I'm managing and pulling my ass out there. I don't care. I'm doing this till the day I die. And I don't know. I don't give that thought. I kind of do what I do, and I hope people just have good, funny stories to tell,
So with you being what I consider you're a vet and stuff, and you have a young upcoming guy that comes up and he wants to get into the hardcore area of professional wrestling and stuff, what's your advice to a guy like that?
I tell him don't. I tell him to work on his wrestling skill first. Pay attention to that because it's very hard to make a name for yourself or to do anything with the hardcore. I have lost a lot of bookings because I became a quote unquote hardcore wrestler. I tell them, show that you can be a well-rounded wrestler first, then do the hardcore. Then when you do the hardcore, make sure you're taking care of all your gimmicks, you're taking care of all your props, because I have enough scars and holes burned into tattoos and permanent injuries to last me a lifetime for my own screw-ups of leaving in somebody else's hands.
Well, that does bring me, Will brought up a good point. You said you've lost a lot of bookings because of, going into hardcore per se. Do you still, even when you are doing a hardcore match, still try to incorporate wrestling, traditional wrestling maneuvers in there to set you apart from, a lot of hardcore guys who are considered, just novelty acts in there who really can't wrestle?
Yeah, I believe there's, not even just wrestling moves. For the real hardcore fans that get it, all my matches are psychology. Even if it's a hardcore match and it's, part of my French, a clusterfuck of a match, it could be the drizzling shits. But if you actually break down the match afterwards, there's still psychology to it. There's still a story every time. The only times you will see no storyline is if there's 5 guys in the hardcore match, because then I just sit back and go ahead, you guys beat each other up.
So who did you idolize? Who were the guys that you really looked at when you started patterning your own career, or even, it doesn't have to even be a hardcore guy. Who are guys that really got you influenced in this business?
When it came to guys with gimmicks, I was a Sting fan, so I'm kind of marking out right now with the whole Sting stuff. Was always an Undertaker fan. I like the guys with the gimmicks. I hated guys like Hulk Hogan and stuff like that. I loved Macho Man though. He was another guy that was just so out there. It was great. Wrestling-wise, though, that's when I take my roots back to the ECW days. I mean, I was lucky to actually learn from one of the guys I idolized, just incredible.
Right.
You know, Stevie Richards, I mean, a lot of those guys, Tommy Dreamer, you know, some of those guys catch flack, and, you know, Jerry Lynn, God, Rob Van Dam, some of their matches, a lot of those guys were the beginning of the high spot movement in matches. Yeah, now it's like drowning in it to where some matches are only high spots, but still, those guys brought that high speed, you know, big impact moves, just everything with the psychology. And those were the guys, like, I wanted to wrestle like them, but I wanted to be weird like the other guys.
So when you watch wrestling today, you know, you're watching I don't know if you do or not, but do you watch WWE and TNA and things like that? And if you do, what do you like about it? What do you don't like about it? What would Lenn Oddity do to change it?
For me, I watch the E on and off. I've been trying to watch it more religiously lately just because I should be paying attention to where I want to go and what's relevant today. I haven't really caught much of TNA in a good couple of years. You know, with what's going on, some of the gimmicks are actually really good. I wish they would, you know, push the guys a certain way, or even just listen to the crowd. Like, I know certain things you can't help, like the Royal Rumble and, you know, doing the Royal Rumble in PA and, you know, not putting over, you know, some kind of guy that you know the smart marks are going to cheer for. You know, that was just kind of asking for trouble. But, you know, that they're pushing Reigns, that, you know, I think they should be pushing Rollins and Ambrose more, because Ambrose is getting the, you know, he's getting the crowd more behind him no matter what he does. It's kind of gold at the moment. I'm loving the Wyatt stuff. Hell, I'm even loving how they're drawing out the Sting stuff, because, you know, it's making the fans want it more. So when it does happen, you know, everybody just kind of creases in their pants.
So what does Lenn Oddity want to say?
I'd want them to actually, you know, listen to the crowd more. I really would. That's one of the things where I'm sitting there going as a fan and going, okay, this is the same old tired bullshit over and over again. You know, take the storylines, take some of the storylines that can actually go for a year or two and run with it instead of running with the storyline for 3 to 6 months max. You know, even some of these guys like Fandango. I kind of like some of his wrestling. I am not a fan of his gimmick, but that's his job. I hate his gimmick because he's a good heel. And they could do so much more with him, and instead they start building him up to where he's being a badass, and then what do? They start making him a bitch to his bitches. Stuff like that just kind of hurts my head.
So what do you think of NXT and the way it's being pushed, I guess, and really pushing the limits on what WWE is starting to, you know, look at maybe for the future?
I think they should stop, like, letting NXT being the minor league and just give it Thursday nights. give the main roster the Monday night and actually make NXT a part of the main show, because a lot of the people that they have in there right now, you know, is, you know, Sami Zayn, just to name a few, or name one. A lot of those guys are just, they can do so much more, and just leaving them in the minor leagues is, you know, I almost feel like they could have did something better with, oh God, you named them a minute ago, and now I'm drawing a blank.
The
This is what happens, you get hit in the head a lot. Yes, the Ascension. They could be doing so much better with the Ascension, how they're doing it. In some ways, they're kind of messing it up, but in others, you know, they're kind of going in the right way, especially with how they had them, you know, take out New Age Outlaws and stuff, and, you know, putting them up against the, you know, don't want to say older tag teams, but, you know, the prior
the older tag teams.
Yeah. I like those guys. They're still my heroes, damn it.
It's just interesting to see how when they're getting, and Zayn, you know, to Zayn's credit, he spoke to, you know what, NXT and WWE are not the same thing. It's playing to a different crowd. You know, you're playing to a fairly regional market for the most part with NXT, and then you get to the, you know, the whole global thing, and you watch Paige, and you see how her character has just been really up and down. Where's the anti-diva that got her over so well in the first place? Then you watch Emma just flounder in the WWE when she was so over in NXT. It just makes you wonder why they want to mess around with things that have proven themselves at least successful on some level, at least give it a chance at that level. And if it doesn't work, then tweak it instead of tweaking it right out of the gate.
My personal belief is the main problem with the E is too many story writers. You have movie writers and story writers. You don't have, guys that actually get the wrestling business and how wrestling fans think. If you had that, then they would understand, okay, this is working. We just have to roll with this a different way, or, we're going with this the right direction. Let's just keep going with this. And, instead it's, okay, this is a movie. As Vince McMahon has put it, we make movies.
All right, I'm going to kick it over to Zane Paisley. Zane, it's social media time. Let's wrap it up with Mr. Oddity for the evening.
Well, I have one more question for him outside of his plugs and promos. I take it that you're a Batman fan, correct?
Yes, sir.
Have you been watching Gotham?
Not yet. I'm actually about to watch the episode that supposedly has a ginger Joker, in it.
Okay. But you follow the series so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I haven't watched last night's episode either. What are your thoughts? Do you think it stays true to the comic series, or you seem to be a halfway credible source on Batman?
I don't know.
Hang on. Before you answer this, Len, I want to make sure I understand too, real quick, thing, because I'm a huge Batman fan. This is supposed to be a prequel to Batman, though, right?
Yes.
It's in the universe.
Okay, continue, Mr. Oddity. Sorry for the interruption.
That was okay. You also have to understand, I'm more of a Batman villain fan than I am Batman. I think Batman's great. Yeah, awesome. He is really the leader of the Justice League because he's a badass human being and really, really smart. Doesn't need powers, can take everybody out. Awesome. But I still find his villains more entertaining. Overall, though, there's some, the only thing I would change is Oswald Cobblepot should be fat. Other than that,
agreed.
I think the show's kind of retelling the story in a modern day way, and it's not god awful, but it's not like one of those things where I have to watch it as soon as it's on. I can't live without the next episode. Oh God, oh God, oh God. No. Okay. I can hold my breath between episodes.
So what do you mark out for? Is it like The Walking Dead? Is that something you have to catch live?
Yeah. Actually, Walking Dead, I'm a big fan of. I'm also a big fan of comic book movies. I am a nerd that way. I am more of a Marvel fan. So, but yeah. Yeah, I actually, for the most part, I stay pretty sucked into, I don't watch television, actually. If I watch anything, it's on Hulu or free streaming on the internet. I pretty much stay sucked into my family and my projects. I'm always making something. Half of my merch, actually, like my masks, they're all handmade by me. So, yeah, I kind of stay sucked into those projects.
Awesome. So, how can our listeners follow you again? Can you give us your Twitter and your Facebook and your Instagram, and I don't know if you do Snapchat or LinkedIn or
Smoke signals. You get a hold of me by smoke signals, and I'll tweet back. I promise.
The telegraph would be working.
No, I'm going real old school. No electricity. Everything you
MySpace.
Yeah. Oh God. That's how my wife found me, so I can't diss MySpace.
Okay.
She found me on MySpace. That's the funny thing. Anyways, everything you can find: Facebook, Twitter, all Lenn Oddity, or just go to www.lennoddity.com, lennoddity.com. Everything's there, past matches, all different YouTube links. Do I have to say it a third time? Should I say it backwards for the dyslexic people? I can do it backwards. COM.YTIDDONNEL.www. Yeah.
Lynn, the only thing I can say is long live Oddcore.
Woo!
Hey, it was a really great pleasure getting to talk to you tonight. I'm glad you were able to make it on tonight. Again, happy birthday to you. hope the injury heals up soon, because we need more Lenn Oddities out there in the wrestling world. It'd be nice to see you out there in the ring again.
Thank you very much, sir, and all you gentlemen, and thank you very much for having me and the birthday wishes. This was a pleasure, and anytime you want to have me back, please let me know.
You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.